of Adi Lila, second chapter, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is proved with proper evidences. So here, this verse is from the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first evidence, where God is supreme. That implies he should have three features. Vadanti tattvavidas tattam nijnanamatvayam meti paramatmeti bhagavati shakti. So this verse appears in the 11th verse of the first canto, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sutta Goswami answers the questions of the sages headed by Shonaka Rishi concerning the essence of all spiritual instructions. So if he is a learned person, he should know that Lord is personal Brahman, localized Paramatma. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is known as Tattva Vidaha, one who has a knowledge of the absolute. So if he is Tattva Vidaha, then he should know that Sri Krishna, who is the son of King Vraja, is absolute truth. It's that they do not discriminate between Sri Krishna's name, form, quality, and pastimes. One who wants to separate the Lord's absolute name, form, qualities from the Lord himself must be understood to be lacking in absolute knowledge. That is how in the purport, very clearly it has been said that the five aspects of Lord are non-different from Krishna. His name, form, qualities, pastimes, and his parivar, that is devotees. One who does not have this knowledge is called, that is known as Maya. One is not Krishna conscious, is ruled by the spell of Maya under the control of a duality in knowledge. In the absolute, all the manifestations of the Supreme Lord are non-dual, just as the multifarious forms of Vishnu, the controller of Maya, are non-dual. The empiric philosophers who pursue the impersonal Brahman accept only the knowledge that the personality of the Lord is not different from the personality of Supreme Lord. And the mystic yogis who try to locate the Paramatma accept only the knowledge that the soul is not different from the super soul. The absolute conception of a pure devotee, however, includes all others. The devotee does not see anything except in its relationship with Krishna, and therefore his realization is the most perfect of all. So, what is the meaning of impersonal realization? They think that the living entity is non-different. Everything is Brahman. So, so for a person who, for an empiric philosopher, who pursue this impersonal Brahman, for him, what is the knowledge? This Jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. That is why for them everything is Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. For a Paramatma, for a person, for a yogi who is trying to locate the Paramatma, he feels that the pure soul, that means the soul which is not now entangled in any of the material things, when reaches that type of Shuddha Sattva, that Shuddha Sattva is only the super soul. But a devotee can understand that the relationship of soul is, he is always servant of Krishna. That is why he can understand the relationship with Lord. He never tries to equalize the soul and the super soul. That is why his realization is Upanishad kahe Tanre Sunirmala. What the Upanishads call the transcendental impersonal Brahman is the realm of the glowing effulgence of the same Supreme Brahman. Tahara Anga Shuddha Kirana Mandala. So what is Brahman? Brahman effulgence. The effulgence which comes from the body of Krishna. That is Brahman. Key mantras of the Mundaka Upanishad give information regarding the bodily effulgence of the Lord. Hiranmaye pare koshe virajam brahmanishkalam tashubham jyotisa jyotistad yad atmavido viduhu न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यम् अग्निः तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भाषा सर्वं इदं विभाति ब्रह्मैवेदम् अमृतं पुरस्तात् ब्रह्म पश्चात् ब्रह्म दक्षिणतस् चोत्तरेण अधश्चोर्ध्वं न परस्त्रम् ब्रह्मैवेदं विश्वमिदं वरिष्ठम्. So in the spiritual realm, beyond the material covering, there is unlimited Brahman effulgence, which is free from all material contamination. That effulgent white light is understood by the transcendentalists to be the light of all the lights. In that realm, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity for illumination. Indeed, whatever illumination appears in the material world is only a reflection of that supreme illumination. That Brahman is in front and in back, in the north, south, east, and west, and also overhead and below. In other words, that supreme Brahman effulgence spreads throughout both the material and spiritual skies. Charma chakshe dekhe yeche surya nirvishesha jnana marge laite nare krishner vishesha. So with our naked eyes, one can never understand what is sun. We cannot even see. We cannot even see the variegatedness in the sun. It is very difficult to see the sun with the naked eyes. In the same way, by mental speculation, one can never understand Krishnera Vishesha, the variety, transcendental varieties of Lord Krishna. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti koti svashesha vasudha divibhuti vinnam tad brahmanish kalamanantamashesha bhutam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So yasya prabha prabhata, this effulgence which is coming out of the body of Krishna. In fact, effulgence is so excellent that Jagadanda Koti, millions and millions of universes, unlimited universes, planets with all their opulences, and Bhinnam, variegated, they are all there in this Brahman effulgence. So this Brahman is unlimited, Asheshaha. So it is unlimited. Varieties of countless planets are there in this Brahman. So this Brahman is actually the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited. So in the purport, Sri Prabhupada says, this verse appears in the Brahma Samhita 5.40. Each and every one of the countless universes is full of innumerable tribes with different constitutions and atmospheres. All these come from the unlimited non-dual Brahman or complete whole, which exists in absolute knowledge. The origin of that unlimited Brahman effulgence is the transcendental body of Govinda, who is offered respectful obeisances as the original and supreme personality. Koti koti brahmande ye brahmera vibhuti se brahma govindere kanti. The Lord Brahma says that the opulence of this material Brahman is spread everywhere. It is the effulgence coming out of Lord, so opulent. So millions of universes are there situated in this Brahman. That means this Brahman is spread throughout the millions and millions of universes. This Brahman is the bodily effulgence of Govinda. Like the sun rays spreads all over the world. So in the same way, this Brahman effulgence spreads all over the millions and millions of universes. Se Govinda Bhajayami Deho Morapati Tahara Prasade Morahaya Srishti Shakti. So here Brahmaji says, I worship Govinda because only by his grace I am empowered to do Srishti or to create the universe. Although the sun is situated far away from the other planets, its rays sustain and maintain them all. Indeed, the sun diffuses its heat and light all over the universe. Similarly, the Supreme Sun, Govinda, diffuses his heat and light everywhere in the form of his different potencies. The sun's heat and light are non-different from the sun. The same way, the unlimited potencies of Govinda are non-different from Govinda himself. Therefore, the all-pervasive Brahman is the all-pervasive Govinda. The Bhagavad Gita 14.27 clearly mentions that impersonal Brahman is dependent upon Govinda. That is a real conception of absolute truth. Munayo vatava sanaha shamana urdhamanthinaha brahmakhyam dhamate yanti shantaha sanya. Munayo vata vasanaha shamana urdhamanthinaha. So Muniyaha, the saints, Vatavasanaha, those were naked saints. Shamanaha, they perform naked sannyasis, naked saints and sannyasis. They are performing so much of penance, severe physical penances. Go to Himalayas, you can see them. Shamana. Urdhvamantinaha, who can raise their semen to the brain. They don't waste their semen. Brahma and in this way, they are so equippized in Brahman that they always live in Brahmaloka. So they can go up to Brahmaloka. They are in renounced order. They are very pure. Amalaha. In this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 11.6.47, Vata Vasanaha. Vata Vasanaha means they are not at all carrying the material things, including even clothes, but who depend wholly on nature. Such sages cover their bodies even in severe winter or scorching sunshine. They take great pains not to avoid any kind of bodily suffering. And they live by begging door to door. They never discharge their sin, either knowingly or unknowingly. By such celibacy, they are able to raise the semen to the brain. Thus, they become most intelligent and develop very sharp memories. Their minds are never disturbed or diverted from contemplation on the absolute truth. Nor are they ever contaminated by desire for material enjoyment. By practicing austerities under strict discipline, such mendicants attain a neutral state transcendental to the modes of nature and merge into the impersonal Brahman. So they do a lot of austerities, and in this way they merge into the impersonal Brahman. They are able to control their senses. They try to take all type of difficulties. In this way, their intelligence is also sharpened and they can reach the impersonal Brahman. Amantarayami, Atmantarayami, Yandre Yoga Shastre Kahe, Kaya Seha Govindera Amshaha, Vibhuti Ye Haya, Atmantarayami, Yandre Yoga Shastra Kaya. What does the Yoga Shastra speak about? The Atmantaryami. So Yoga Shastras speak that one who is Atmantaryami is actually Govinda's personal expansion. Seha Govindera Amsha Vibhutiyayah. So Yoga Shastras speak about Atma Antaryami. Atma Antaryami means one who is residing in everyone's heart. Antaryami. So in this way, the plenary expansion or personal expansion of Govinda is super soul. So in the purport, it has been described. The Lord is very joyful and he is in the fourth dimension of existence. For although the material world is measured by the limitation of length, breadth, and height, Lord is completely unlimited. And in this way, Lord has created various avatars, Purusha avatars, then Guna avatars. In this way, various avatars has been created. So if a person studies these three kinds of Purushas, a living entity can transcend the position knowing only the 24 elements of the material world. So Karanadakshaya Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu has been mentioned in this purport. The last para, the authorized scriptures direct the individual souls to revive their relationship with the Lord. The super soul. Indeed, the system of yoga is a process of transcending and transcending the influence of the material elements by establishing a connection with the Purusha known as Paramatma. One who has thoroughly studied the intricacies of creation can know very easily that this Paramatma is a plenary portion of the Supreme Lord. So Lord is situated in each and everyone's heart. And that super soul is none other than the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead of Govinda. Ananta Spatike Yaiche Ekasurya Bhase. Like one sun appears in countless jewels, Spatikamani, we say Spatika, crystals. So one Surya, one sun is enough to reflect in countless jewels. In the same way, Govinda manifests himself as Paramatma in the hearts of all living beings. The sun is situated in a specific location but is reflected in the countless jewels and appears in innumerable localized aspects. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, eternally present in the transcendental abode Goloka Vrindavan, is reflected in everyone's heart as a super soul. The Upanishad, it is said that the Jiva, the living entity, and Paramatma, the super soul, are like the two birds sitting in the same tree. One is engaged in the fruitive activities, and one is observing. Paramatma has nothing to do with such engagements. As soon as the living entity ceases the act in terms of fruitive work and takes to the service of the Lord, Paramatma comes to know, and then he comes to know about the supremacy of Lord. So he is freed from all the designation. In that pure state, he enters the kingdom of God, that is Vaikuntha. So it is said, one has to become free from all the so-called designations, the positions. Then one can be in the pure state and can enter Vaikuntha. The Paramatma or Super Soul guides the living entity, and thus he does not take part in fulfilling the desires of the living beings, but he arranges for the fulfillment of material for their fulfillment by material nature. So Paramatma, he is guiding the super soul. Directly he will not fulfill the desire, but he arranges the material nature. As soon as the individual soul becomes conscious of his eternal relationship with the Lord and looks towards him, he at once becomes free from the entanglement of material enjoyment. Christian philosophers who do not believe in the law of karma put forward the argument that it is absurd to say that one must accept the results of past deeds of which he has no consciousness. A criminal is first reminded of his misdeeds by the witness in the law court. Then he is punished. If death is complete forgetfulness, why should a person be punished for his past misdeeds? The conception of Paramatma is an invincible answer to these fallacious arguments. Paramatma is the witness of the past activities of individual living. Man may not remember what he has done in the childhood, but his father, who has seen him grow through different stages of development, certainly remembers. Similarly, the living being undergoes many changes of his body through many lives. But the super soul is always with him and remembers all his activities despite his evolution through different bodies. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that I remember everything. You have forgotten. Whether the living entity remembers or not, Krishna is present as super soul and is remembering each and every activity of others. So the argument has been put, even in the material world, the prisoner is reminded of his past mistakes. But then, why is it that previous karmas are not reminded? If we are not aware of it, why we should be punished? What is the necessary of ours of the punishment? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Bahuni me vetitani janmani tavacha Arjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vettaha parantapa. Bahuni me vetitani. Bahuni means many. I and you have passed through many births, both you and I. Krishna tells to Arjuna. Tanyaham sarva veda sarvani. Tanyaham veda sarvani. I remember everything. Natvam vetta parantapa. But you have forgotten everything. That is the difference between Lord and a living entity. A living entity doesn't have so much of intelligence to remember. But Lord is all intelligent and he remembers each and every activity of the jivas. So that is how it is said, the Lord is present in each and every living entity. And in this way, Lord, who is reflected in each and everyone's heart as Paramatma, knows the desires of each and every living entity, but directly does not take part in fulfilling the desires, but allows the material nature to fulfill the desires of the living entity. But if a living entity has turned his face turns his face away from the material desires, then it is Paramatma who guides him from within. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayate. Krishna takes a personal responsibility to guide the jiva from within. Athava bahulaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna ishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekamshena sto jagat. So Lord tells, ekamshena stito jagat. Just by one single prairie portion, I live throughout this cosmic manifestation. Athava bahunai ten. Bahuna means much. So what more shall I say about me? Vishtabhyam, I pervade everywhere. Just by my one portion, I am present everywhere. Ekamshena stochakar. The last verse for today. Tamimam mahammajam sharira bhaja hrudi dishtitam atmakalpitana pratidrisham iva naikadharakam vikam ekam samadhigato smi viduta hedamohaha. Grandfather Bhishma said, as one sun appears differently situated, different seers, in the same way, you also, the unborn, appear differently represented as the Paramatma in every living being. But when a seer knows himself to be one of your own servitors, no longer does he maintain such duality. Thus I am now able to comprehend your eternal forms, knowing well the Paramatma to be only the portion. So one sun is seen by different people different ways. So here it is said, one who knows his relationship with Lord, that he is servant of Lord, then he can see that there is actually no duality. Lord is non-dual. Same Lord is present in everyone's heart. It's not Paramatma is something different. No, Paramatma is only plenary portion of Lord. So this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.42, spoken by Vishnu Deva, the grandfather of Purus, when he was lying on the bed of arrows. So there, Maharaj Yudhishthira comes, and Krishna wanted Maharaj Yudhishthira to take the final instructions from Bhishma Pitama, because Bhishma Pitama was in the final moments. So one son is the object of vision of many people. In the same way, one partial representation of Krishna, who is Paramatma, is a variously perceived object. One who is intimately in touch with Lord by engaging in his service can understand that super soul is partial expansion of Lord himself. That is why it is very much important to understand our identity with Lord. If we forget our identity with Lord, then we can never understand that super soul. And then we can mistake super soul to be the soul, individual soul. The super soul is the seer. He is observing us. At the same time, super soul is there to guide us. But we have to hear him. We can only hear him when we turn our face from all the material attachments, so-called material duties, which actually has no sense, so-called material duties. The real duty is to connect each and everyone in Krishna consciousness. That is actually the duty of each and everyone. Whoever we are in contact with, so we are in contact with our own body first. So connect our body to Krishna. So we are in contact with so many body-related people. So that is how we have to connect each and everyone in Krishna consciousness. If we are able to do that, then we can understand that there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's plenary expansions. So here we'll stop. Any questions? No questions? Hare Krishna. So today's Bhakti Shastri meditation program. Okay? Today, more in detail will be there. So who all have joined the Bhakti Shastri, please join at 8 o'clock. So,
Hare Krishna Mataji.